First things first, go on to jamdoggy.com/occlusion and then scroll down. You're going to want to download the server binary that is for your platform. So for me, Windows, although I will also be showing how to use the Linux version later. You're also going to need to download the Minecraft plugin, which is for the Minecraft server that you're running. Basically, once this gets downloaded, you're going to want to put the Minecraft jar into your server plugins folder. Also, you're going to want to click keep if Chrome asks you that. On Windows, you're going to want to just run the dedicated server.exe. If a smart screen thing comes up, just click more info and then click run anyways. That's just because this isn't signed. And also, you're going to want to do the same thing for if a Windows firewall comes up. You're going to want to click on allow on private and public networks and then click allow. Anyways, once the server starts, you're going to notice that it's going to say could not start game client, invalid IP or port. This is because, I need to run the stop command to stop the server properly. It has generated a settings file, and this settings file has a game IP, game port, and a couple other settings. But mainly you're just going to want to deal with these. So the IP is the IP of your Minecraft server, and the port is the port of the voice chat server running on the Minecraft server. So here's the thing, you're going to need to port forward your Minecraft server to another additional port. So let's say, for instance, your Minecraft server is running on port 25565. You're going to need to open up another port on your host machine so that the plugin can create a server on that port. And that port is going to need to be opened for at least TCP, or it can be opened for TCP and UDP, doesn't matter. I'm not going to tell you how to port forward in this tutorial because that differs depending on your router's brand. So you're going to want to Google that for your router's brand. However, if you're not self-hosting your Minecraft server, you're going to want to do it with your Minecraft server host. For instance, I use PebbleHost. If you don't, you're going to want to look at another server hosting company. But this is just for example's sake, because other server companies do similar things as well. There is an additional ports section. You're going to want to click that. And this, as you can see, I've already added a port here. This is just whatever port the server company gave me. It doesn't matter what the port number is. You just need a open port. That is not the same as your Minecraft one. You can call it anything, if you even can call it anything. It doesn't matter. And then you're going to need to go to your Minecraft in your plugins folder. First, you're going to need to launch the Minecraft server so that it generates a settings file, and then you can close the Minecraft server and then go into this Occlusion spigot folder right here. Then there will be a config.yml. You're going to want to open it. Of course, I'm using FileZilla as my FTP server. You might not be using FTP. You could just be using Windows File Explorer, whatever. Just open it and then change port from, actually I think it's just defaulted to nothing. You're going to want to change that to this port right here, or whatever port you are able to get port forwarded on your server. Then, back to the voice chat server that you downloaded from the website, you're going to want to go to settings.json, and then change game IP to your Minecraft server's IP, and then port to your additional port, or the port you port forwarded, which in this case is 8196 for me. So do that, and then I'm not going to leak the IP, so just, you know what to do. You know how to copy-paste stuff. If you know that is working, then you can go to your Minecraft client and join the Minecraft server, and you should get an Occlusion message in your chat. And then on the server, when you start it up, it should say starting game client connected to port and then your additional port, instead of the other message that we got. Now, other things you should know. First of all, if we go to settings.json, here you can change the distance that people can hear people at. This is a quadratic scale, where if they're farther than someone else, it will make them quieter until, in this case, if we get up to 78 blocks, then we won't be able to hear them at all. Enable voice mute icon meter on clients basically allows clients to see other people's green indicator borders when they're talking. You might not want this if you don't want a situation where someone can find out who near them is talking. So maybe you might want to turn this to false, and then clients will only see their own voice meter instead of everyone else's. In terms of the server, in the future there may be a help command. There isn't currently, but other than that, the only commands currently are reload config, which reloads the config file in case you made any changes while the server's running, so you don't have to restart the server. And then there's a stop command, which stops the server. To make it so people can connect to your server, you're going to need to make sure that you have the correct port set in the settings of the server. So we're going to open the settings.json after we've launched the server once, and you are going to want to pay attention to this right here. Now, if you can just port forward the default port, that would be preferable because then it makes it slightly easier to connect. However, if you are in a situation where, say, you are using a server hoster or dedicated server hosting of any kind, and you can't use the port 9755, or maybe it's being used by something else for some reason, then you can port forward any other port and just set this port to that port. So say 2345. And now if we launch the server, assuming that port isn't invalid or being used by anything, yep, as you can see, it now says server is now running on port 2345. I'm not going to tell you how to port forward once again, but you can, again, look it up for whatever situation you're in. Now when it comes to getting people to actually join your server after you've got the port situation all figured out and your port is port forwarded, they just need your public IP. You can search up like, what is my public IP online, and there are websites that'll give you your public IP. It will follow a number format like 100.0.0.1. Like, it'll be 4 numbers separated by periods. It's not the really long one. That's not your IPv4. That's your IPv6. You want your IPv4. And then people can join you with that and the port that you have port forwarded, which by default, again, is 9755 unless you port forwarded something else. If you would like to join a server that is hosted on your computer locally, you can actually just type in localhost into Occlusion. Although I also do go over how to connect to servers in the user guide for Occlusion, whereas this is the server guide. So you can go check that out as well. It's on the website, and it's on this YouTube channel as well. On Linux, it is the same thing, essentially, except for the fact that this is a Unix executable, so launch it however you can. For some reason, I can't double-click it, so if double-clicking it doesn't work, which it might not, you're using Linux, so you probably know how to launch an executable on your distro. Just for the sake of it, though, just, CD to your desktop, or not desktop, just CD to wherever you have the server executable in, and then just launch it by doing, / occlusion dedicated server, and then boom, it should, obviously run. You'll get the settings.json. Just like on Windows, everything is the exact same, basically. You can use commands the exact same, and the executable is stored in a tar.xz file when you download it, so permissions and stuff are manually set. But if for some reason it doesn't allow you to, execute it, obviously you can right-click it, go to Properties, Permissions, make sure this is checked. Or if you don't have that on your distro, or maybe if you're not even using a GUI, which, is very common for servers, in the terminal you're going to want to cd to your to where you have the server located, and then you're going to want to do chmod +x occlusion dedicated server, or whatever you have it named, and then boom, it'll be executable, and then you can run it with / again.